Okay, let me start the class. So, good afternoon, everyone. So, in this class, we'll be discussing about the last function of ITIL. So, we have started with the ITIL function in the last class. Okay, and then we'll move to the COSO standard. Okay, so just let me share material. So, ITIL, we have already seen the four functions were there, right? We have already seen the four functions, that is the service strategy, service design, and service transition and service operations, right? Now in this class we'll start with the continual service improvement, also known as the CSI. Okay, so I'm using your SLM material. So over here you can see, okay, you can see this component of ITL is basically for maintaining the value of the customers, that is it should benefit the customer, okay, through continuous evaluation and process improvement. So how will you value? So in the last class also we took examples of some like web applications. We have like Amazon, we took an example of Amazon and Flipkart. So there also, suppose when the Flipkart was initially started, or like Amazon was initially started, so over the years people are using more of this website, more people are using, like going for this online shopping. So these are adding value to the customers. If they are not like innovating itself, if they are not modifying itself and keeping the whatever thing, how the things were done in Amazon in 5 years back, and it would use the same strategy now also, this probably won't keep the interest of the customers, right? For that purpose they are introducing new sales, new policies. Even I think Amazon Pay also, so some discounts. So all these things are added to give benefit to the customer. So ultimately why they do so? Because they can keep the interest of the customer. So that is why here this in this continual service improvement, they will adopt the principles, policies, and processes for quality project, from quality management, change management, and capability improvement. So all these things need to be incorporated into their organization. So if you think of Flipkart, so before when it was launched, so it was basically done for it was I think owned by the Indian brothers, right, the IITians, and later Walmart has bought this Flipkart. So only initially only this Flipkart was operating from books, right? But later on, like lots of things were incorporated. Now you can find everything in Flipkart, right? So but why did this Walmart took over the like organization? Because in the mid it was suffering few losses, so it was unable to uh, take those losses, right? So that is why the company got sold to Walmart. Now Walmart is the owner of Flipkart, right? So this is why, so we have to continuously improve the, for any organization it has to continually change its products, like, and adapt to the changing environment, or the quality should be maintained. So everything needs to be maintained to retain the interest of the customer. So if you see, this is the diagram for, like, we can see the CSI, the continual service management is there. So you can see here, how do we go for how do we keep the momentum going? So how will you keep? So there is, you have to, first is the vision. You should have the perspective, you should have the aim for it. Okay, so how do, if being an organization, or like even being an individual, where do you want to see the company in the next 5 years? Okay, for you have to have a vision, and then you have to think, now where do we lie now in this like obviously in this next 5 years we want our see the company in the one of the like prestigious company, or the top leading web, like e-commerce website in our in the other, compared to the other competitors. Okay, but we have to also think about our, like, at what stage we are now, then what we have to do, where do we want to be, and then in the next 5 years where we want to be, then how do we get there? Obviously if you have the vision, you have the perspective, you're clear, then you have to have an action or plan accordingly, right? So how will you reach there? Having a vision will not alone will not do anything, right? You have to have some action plans. Okay, suppose in your interviews also, when you sit for interviews, the HR will ask you the questions, where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years? Okay, so you have to answer that, you have to vision. They just check you whether you are a visionary or not, whether you are able to vision. And if you say no, I don't know, like I have not thought about it, that's not a good answer. Your perspective, your vision should be very clear, and you should have, obviously you have planned for that one. See, most of the people who are doing technical education, maybe engineering or maybe your MCA, so what they have the vision that they want to join some IT companies, be a software developer or everything. It's these people generally succeed in life because they have the vision, they have the like proper idea. So that is why you people are going for the this studies, technical studies. And if you don't have, because due to peer pressure you are doing, or like your parents have forced you to study this one, in that case there will be a problem, right? You won't enjoy the thing. So similarly, we have to have an action for that. And after you reach there, like after next 5 years, you have to evaluate yourself. Okay, did we able to achieve the same thing or not? So what is the vision? So it is first, you have to first think about the vision. So it will be the vision of the business vision, or the mission and the goals, objectives you want to achieve, right? Where are you now? As a baseline assessment. So you have to assess yourself, evaluate yourself, and then measurable target. So what will be your target in the next 5 years? Where do you want to reach? And then you have where do how do we want to get there? So obviously the plan and action we are talking about, so that is the service and the process improvement. And did we get there? So it's the measurement and the metric. So we have to measure it in a scale, right? So that is how it is, the measurement and metrics. So this was all about the CSI, continual service management. Okay, I hope this part is clear. Okay. Next is the ISO or IEC 27000. We have studied about the standard. So this is actually a part of this ISO is known as the International Standard Organization. You can see the full form. And also this IEC is the International Electrotechnical Commission. So these abbreviations are very important. So ISMS is the Information Security Management System Standards. Okay, so it will gives basically the overview of the International Standard Organization of 27000 family of standards. And you can glossary or vocabulary of the terms that are used. So generally in companies, the terms they are used, they have like proper standard terms are there, so that everyone understand within the organization, or like within the same kind of organization. For this we have this basic standards. Okay, now this ISO or IEC 27000 series, it will recommend the best practices for the information security management. So how your information is being secured in the organization, and the risk, how the risk is being taken care of and it's controlled, it falls under this ISO IEC 27000 standard. So whatever standard is mentioned, it will follow the rules according to that only. So it is very broad in scope, and it applies to all kinds of organization, whether it is a small, medium or large. Okay, so this if it is an ISO IEC 27000 standard, that means every organization, those companies, those organizations that are following these standards, their rules and regulations will be almost same for the security policies. Okay, so it will recommend the organization to identify all its information assets and identify the risk of each of these assets from across various resources. So when we were discussing the risk chapter, we have studied risk assessment was there, right? That there are two kinds of risk: internal risk and external risk. So we have to, based on the risk level, that is the intensity of the risk, the organization decides whether they take up the risk or not, or whether there is a solution that lies on the risk. So because risk means there is an opportunity also. Without risk there is no gain, right? So that is why the companies, they ought to take the risk. Okay, Suppose what can be the internal risk? Suppose in the mid, you have your project has already been started with full force, and someone who is highly skillful, one of the person who is highly skillful, he leaves the project in the mid of the in the mid. Then what happens? That is also a risk. The project gets hampered. He had so much knowledge and he is living in the middle. So for avoiding such kind of risk, what the companies does is that they include a clause in your what to say that one contract of the person that you cannot leave the company until and unless you finish the project. In the middle of the project, you cannot leave the company, you cannot resign, or even if you resign, you need to complete your work and then only you can resign. So such kind of risks are taken care in such manner. Okay. Okay, so it then recommends the implementation of the necessary control. So I told you among one of the controls, if we have an internal risk, okay, how it is done. This ISO 27001 has 10 short clauses. So what are the clauses are there? You can see scope of the standard, how the document is referenced. Referenced means I like whenever see whenever we give you an assignment, you copy from some source, right? So you copy either from a book, you get a like, you need a proper reference, like you need to refer to something, either like websites or blogs, or like you can refer to books. So whatever things you are referring to, you need to write it down, you have to document it. Where like if you have used some website link, you need to copy the entire web address, okay, to that link, that this is the reference we have used. If you use a book, then you have to write the entire book name, including its like author name, then the title of the book, then its volume number, then whatever extra details are there, the publication house, everything you need to write. So proper style of referencing you will find in Google. So there is API style is there, IEEE style is there, so all these things are there. Next, reuse of the terms and definitions in ISO IEC 2700. So we have just now discussed that in the ISO IEC 27000, we have security standards and few terms, vocabulary for the terms are there stored here. So we can reuse the terms here, okay, and the definitions. Organizational context and stakeholders, then information security leadership and high level support for policy. All these things needs clauses are included in your documentation part. So next is planning and information security management system, risk assessment, risk treatment, supporting information security management system, making an information security management system operation, reviewing the system performance, corrective action. So all these things needs to be are mentioned in the ISO 27001. So these are the various clauses are present, so that if anyone have confusion, they can because suppose someone has made a mistake and it's according to the ISO 27001, so they can reference this ISO 27001 and they can have an idea, okay, what they need to do it. Okay, so proper documentation is there, and they can also visit the like these links if you have they face similar kind of problems, okay, in the later stage. Next, you can see in the ISO 27001 and 2013, that is a standard introduced in the year 2013. In the Annexure 1, it will list all the standards for all controls and their objectives. So what measures you need to take for the objectives are all mentioned in Annexure 1 of the ISO standard 27001 2013. So this ISO 27001 2013 standard, where they will emphasize on measurement and performance of the information security management system. So it's now better fits with other standards. So it's both in it will match both with ISO 9000 and ISO IEC 20000. So as per the 2013 standard, the standard says that anything that implements the PDCA, I hope you remember the PDCA life cycle, that is a plan development communicate and audit, so can be used for process improvement such as Six Sigma and DMAIC. Now again, Six Sigma is another standard. Okay, so you can see many of the organizations, they go for Six Sigma certification. Like even if you join any company, they will ask that the company is Six Sigma certified. So if being it six, if you any organization is Six Sigma like certified, that means it will be benefit for the resources also. For if you join a Six Sigma company, your salary will be also very high. Okay, so these standards are followed. So that means these are very good companies if these follow the standards. Okay. Next, coming to the COSO model, we'll study the COSO. So you can see COSO. So it's a basically in the early 90s, the Committee of Sponsoring Organization. This COSO is known as the Committee of Sponsoring Organization of the Tradeway Commission developed the internal control integrated framework. So basically, it was a guideline for the companies to assess and enhance their internal controls. So how internally these things were done, okay, how they can control the resources or like any other risk they have. So these things came under the COSO ERM. So this COSO engaged Prince Water Warehouse Coopers. So again, this is again a company only, Prince Waterhouse Coopers, to develop an enterprise risk management framework to help companies develop a robust, that is a dynamic risk management system. Okay, so this COSO enterprise risk management or integrated framework extends the internal control framework to include the risk management practices. So it does not replace the internal control framework. However, it includes the internal control framework completely in the ERM integrated framework. Okay, so enterprise risk management framework, so it's that is how it works, right? It tries to control the risk by integrating it with the enterprise risk management framework. So therefore, companies that adopt this ERM integrated framework can use the internal control framework also for the internal control practices, and then continue to use ERM for the enterprise wide risk management. Okay, so this risk poses both threats and opportunities. So when we were going for studying the risk assessment, we have studied that some risks which are like risk can be converted into opportunities. If you don't take risk, you won't like grow in life, right? So but you have to assess the risk whether you are able to take or not, because the risk has threats, right? It has problems, but if you can succeed overcome the risk, then it becomes your opportunity. It's an opportunity to prove yourself. So this enterprise risk management will help the management to effectively deal with both the risk and the associated opportunities, thus building more value to the enterprise. So that is how value has been added to the enterprise with the help of this enterprise risk management. Now, what is this ERM? Okay, what is this enterprise risk management? So you can see that it's defined as enterprise risk management is a process affected by an entity's board of directors, okay, management and other personnel, applied in strategy, setting and across the enterprise, designed to identify potential events that may affect the entity and may manage risk to be with its risk appetite to provide reasonable assurance regarding the achievements of entity objectives. So what does this means in the enterprise risk management? Basically, it's a process, okay, that is led by the board of directors, management and other influential people will be there, and they will they will assess the risk. They will assess the risk to think whether the risk can be converted, because they are knowledgeable people, like they have handled such kind of risk earlier. So they need to think, they will assess the risk, and they can think where they can convert the risk into opportunity or not. So this is known as enterprise risk management, that is taking the advice. They will take various advice from the legal advisors, then board of directors, management. So all these peoples will come together and they will try to solve the problem, and they will plan and then they will try to solve. So the definition reflects upon certain fundamental concepts. ERM is an ongoing process for an entity. So entity, I hope it is clear from your RDBMS also. Same thing, entity can be a real world object, maybe a person, right? So all these things, or like any object, is known as entity, right? So ongoing process for an entity, okay, so affected by people at various levels in an organization. So obviously, because it depends upon the advices of other people used while setting the strategy for the organization. So if you want to set a strategy, so that then only the meeting is held. They have to assess the risk and they have to think, if any risk occurs, what are they going to do. So this was an applied at enterprise level for every entity or asset in the organization. Okay, so enterprise level, we know it's the board of directors, management, and the highly influential people will be there. Then aimed at identification of threats that occur, and when they occur, to keep the risk levels with manageable limits for the organization. So, and when this risk management, enterprise risk management process is done, why it is done? To access the risk, if they have any risk or not, to identify the risk, and if there is a risk, they will try to find the intensity and find the measure to control the risk. Okay, and then next is aimed at giving a fair confidence to the organization stakeholders that their strategic business objectives are achievable. So also they give whoever is investing into the organization, they need to motivate them that the risk can be handled and we can achieve the vision we have in the next like in using this proper methodologies. Next is geared towards the achievement of the organization's strategic objectives. So using this enterprise risk management, they try to achieve the organization's vision. So this is known as the enterprise risk management. Okay, if you people have any confusion. So these are basically standards only. So in the entire, I hope you have realized this, in the entire uh, modules, whatever was first, second, third, fourth modules, we all have nothing but some standards that are followed by companies. Okay, good companies, so that they can go for like management, right, for proper organization risk management. So to so that they are able to reach the objectives of the organization, how you can go for every level of understanding you have, that were not only technical but from the managerial point of view also. So if you have studied the management paper, you have got these things also. Okay, so just wait for some time, let me take the attendance. So thank you everyone. So that's all for my side today.